And welcome to episode 8 of the Basket Cases podcast, the holiday edition, if you will.
Oh, yes.
I'm your host, Kevin Henderson. With me is my counterpart for the episodes here on the Basket Cases, Zach Bozeman. Say what's up to the people, Zach.
What's up, everybody? Feliz Navidad, episode 8.
There you go. Feliz Navidad, the Ocho.
Any Spanish speakers out there? I dabble.
We are an LA-based show, so we should touch base with our Hispanic audience. Hello, everybody. The Ocho, episode 8. Hola.
Now we relate.
So, we want to thank everybody for listening, new listeners and old. Thank you for being here with us. We had a huge spike in our ratings last week, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like more people in like one day than the rest of the month and a half that we've been on the air, interwebs combined. So that was pretty cool. I think that was a big part thanks to Stitcher. We got the show on Stitcher now. So welcome, Stitcher audience. And we've had some difficulties, technical difficulties, and just want to let you know that we're aware of those. I think initially only a few of the episodes were up, and then when you clicked on them, it was playing a different episode than was listed, and the Stitcher people have resolved that problem of all the episodes not being listed. They're all listed now, but still they're not playing correctly. So hopefully in the next couple days, maybe by the time this episode's up, hopefully, maybe.
So maybe Stitcher was a waste of time.
No, or maybe we gotta stick with it. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Let us know, people. But we want to encourage you to still reach out to the show. Email us, basketcasesla@basketcasespodcast.com. Check out our social media pages. We're at basketcasesla on Twitter. We got a Facebook page. We got our SoundCloud. What's the SoundCloud? It's hard to say. I always know that. SoundCloud.com/basket-cases-podcast. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Slashing and dashing.
Just say it 5 times fast now.
No, thank you.
I think I told you to do that before, though.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather, red yellow leather.
Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch.
That's the hardest one.
That's the hardest one ever. Try saying that at home. Irish wristwatch.
How now, brown cow? That one's pretty easy.
How now, brown cow? Toast. Okay, so anyway.
Moving on.
SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, email, and now Stitcher. So, and also iTunes, and we'd encourage you to review the show, please, and tell your friends, let people know, let the internet know, so that people will be encouraged to click if they see a good review or a bad review that's so insightful that people just want to know what was so bad, and then they'll click on it. Just anything to get us clicks. I don't care.
Right.
Give us 1 star.
Just make stuff up.
And a poop emoji.
Like a poop what?
A poop emoji. I always get memes and emojis, the word mixed up, but I know they're different things. Anyway. So we got a big show today. We're going to dispel the myths as we do on the Basket Cases podcast. We keep it real on here.
Always keeping it real.
We're going to talk the Lakers. We're going to go around the NBA. We're going to talk about Charles Barkley and Colin Cowherd hating the Golden State Warriors.
That makes sense.
We're going to talk about the F word today.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that one. And there was a big trade for the Dodgers. And we got some Strictly Hip Hop for you today. Have you heard Strictly Hip Hop before? We play some hip hop for you. And we talk hip hop.
Hip-hop-opotamus.
Hip hop anonymous. We talk hip hop, and in Strictly Hip Hop today, we're gonna do a vocabulary lesson. And we apologize that we're having technical difficulties again, like we did last week. So just bear with us.
Yeah, and they're really not that bad as long as you can hear what we're saying.
That's right.
It just sounds kind of like someone's pulling a record really slowly across. That's DJ Interruption. That's what we like to call him. That's our man in the back.
Just think it. Just take gently to him. Be kind.
Yeah, he's new. He's just starting out. We're trying to give him some spotlight. So
without further ado, we got a big show. Here we go. The Lakers. Yesterday, the Lakers got blown out by the Thunder. 118-78. Kobe did not play. He had a sore shoulder. He took a little solace in the fact that he will be back in Oklahoma City later this year, so hopefully he can continue his farewell tour and visit the people of Oklahoma City. Not a whole lot you can say about a blowout, but to me, as far as like numbers and whatnot, because it was just ugly. But to me, the Lakers just looked like they were playing elementary school like at snack time. Like when you're a kid and you got like snack time and then lunch time, and snack time was like the 10-minute time where you get to play real quick. You didn't really get a sweat in or nothing. You just were like screwing around for 5 minutes. That's the way the Lakers look like they came out to play an NBA basketball game. was in the middle of the day on a Saturday, and they looked like they just woke up from their nap and just rolled out of bed. Nothing. It was just, and the Thunder were just playing NBA ball, Westbrook and Durant, and running them out of the gym. As far as the way the Lakers played, though, just they still don't have an identity. I still want Jordan Clarkson to be the identity of the team because I feel like he's really the only guy capable of it right now. Obviously, Kobe is going to take that role until he retires. But as far as on the court, I think Jordan Clarkson, especially in a game where Kobe's sitting out, should really have the keys to the car. Russell might be capable of it.
Give me the keys. Give me the keys.
Give me the keys to the car. So I feel like
there seems to be 100 fire trucks going by outside. There's just been sirens for like the last.
I was going to say, is that? I was like, that's not coming from the computer.
No, it's just. I don't know if it's just sitting there and
we got the mics hotter, so hopefully you can hear us better, but you're also going to hear the world.
Yeah.
You're not just sitting in your car absorbing the basket cases. You're absorbing the traffic and all the nonsense.
A little less intimacy, but it'll be good for the whole thing.
Sorry about that, but we're going to keep it rolling. So before the sirens rudely interrupted us, we were talking about the Lakers.
Hope everyone's okay, though.
Thoughts and prayers.
Okay.
So anyway, so D'Angelo Russell, I was going to say, is also the only other guy that I really see as being possibly capable of running the Lakers. You can tell that he kind of wants to in his post-game interviews and stuff. You can tell he's biting his tongue, and he kind of feels limited by Byron Scott's offense, which I would ask, what is that offense? Because it doesn't really look like anything other than very poorly executed isolation basketball. But you can even play isolation basketball better than the Lakers play it. They're
playing lunchtime basketball.
They don't have an identity. They just kind of throw it to a guy and hope for a bucket. That's all. There's no offense really happening.
Here, you shoot it.
We need a sound drop for that. Here, you shoot it. Every time we talk about the Lakers offense,
we need the sound to go here.
We don't get any
360 dunk in your face.
We just want to scream all the time.
Pass the ball.
So anyway, but Russell, but the problem with Russell is that he doesn't have the shot, or like he doesn't finish at the basket quite yet, and his defense isn't quite there. So he can be as pissy as he wants in his post-game interviews. And I kind of like that he's a little pissy because he's so soft-spoken, so you don't really think much of it, but it's there. He can tell he's competitive, and I'm starting to kind of like that. And we've seen that he has a little bit of game to back it up in the last couple of weeks, but it's still not there on a nightly basis. So, like I said, his shot, his finishing, and his defense aren't quite there. But anyway, as far as isolation basketball, it's not a good brand for the Lakers to try to play anyway, like I was saying, because look at the resources. Like I've been trying to figure out why the Lakers are just this bad. Nobody projected them to be this bad.
This is pretty bad. It's embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, like I can't even.
How they went from there to there so quickly.
Forget, call me a homer. I'm a Laker fan, and these games are just miserable to watch, even with the young kids trying to watch them develop and stuff, because the play itself is so poor, even if you see good efforts on an individual level.
Bring back Phil Jackson.
So anyway, but if you look at, so I was trying to figure out why the Lakers are so bad. They're trying to run, first of all, their defense is just bad, plain and simple. The rotations are bad. They're not in sync. Like I said, with young players also, you got to learn how to defend. That said, nobody stops, Durant and Westbrook and guys like that anyway. So a lot of the problems for the Lakers are also on the offensive end. I don't like it when people just say, "Oh, it's just their defense. Fix that and they'll be fine. They scored 105 points tonight." I'm sorry, but that's not the way basketball is played. It's a two-way game, and the offense affects the defense, and the defense affects the offense. I don't like people try to talk about basketball in these little boxes. Let
me tell you something about basketball.
And it's not. Okay. That's not how the game's played. And it frustrates me when people think that's small. But anyway. Enough of my rant there. The Lakers can't play isolation basketball. Why? Russell's shot is too inconsistent. Kobe's too old. Julius Randle can't use his right hand, and he doesn't have a great shot yet. Hibbert, are you joking? Like he's not a threat down low. Nick Young and Lou Williams are too streaky. They can score the ball, but they really bog down in offense because they need the ball in their hands for an extended period of time to create a shot for themselves. That's how they play. Mm-hmm. They don't, they're not weak side cutters and, offense oriented scorers. They're isolation scorers. So Clarkson to me would be the one guy that would be somebody you can run isolation plays for, but he's not enough by himself. And Larry Nance, I think he's a good player, but he is what he is. Larry Nance is just going to be a good hustle player. He's going to develop a better shot every year he's in the league. He's going to he's going to defend. He's going to get rebounds. He's going to get highlight dunks, and he's a smart player, but he's not going to run your offense. He'll be a solid player for years, though. So anyway, that was my rant after watching that pathetic showing from the Lakers on Saturday. But in a brighter spot with the Lakers was we brought the Lakers some luck on Tuesday, didn't we?
We did. We were there.
We were there.
We went. They won.
Believe it or not, we brought the Lakers the one victory they had recently against the Bucks. The Lakers completely dominated. The Bucks looked like they didn't show up. We like to take the credit, although I think the Ace of Diamonds strip club in L.A. might have had something to do with it.
Took all the credit.
Reportedly,
cards.
Like 4 Bucks players were at the strip club the night before till 2 a.m.
They're like, we're playing the Lakers. Who cares? Let's just go get wasted.
Yeah. Well,
among other things.
They're like, they lost to Philadelphia. What are they going to do?
Jesus.
We beat the Warriors the other night. We got to celebrate for at least another week.
We should suspend them for that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But the one thing that stood out to me, though, we had great seats and that was cool. But the one thing that really stood out to me about just the game in general, obviously not looking for a whole lot as far as wins and losses or style of play, obviously, because the Lakers just aren't really offering any of that to look forward to if you go to a game, right? But Kobe was great, and D'Angelo Russell was great in that game. They really both just kind of ran the show. Whenever the ball was in one of those two guys' hands, they ran the show, and they played very well. Nice passes, making a couple threes. D'Angelo Russell did, and the big moment I had though, kind of watching that game, was Kobe got hot in the first quarter, and the crowd went nuts, and then I think it was in the second quarter he took a long three, got fouled, and eked the ball in just kind of with a little English and body motion, and got the 4-point play, got fouled. And the whole crowd just kind of started chanting, I'm MVP, just MVP over and over again. And I've been so critical of Kobe, and I feel justifiably so, and rightfully so.
Yep.
But at the same time, Kobe is one of the reasons why I've loved basketball my whole life. And just in that moment, I kind of just had one of those nostalgic, very sentimental kind of moments. Just feeling, just like all the times I've been at a few pretty big Laker games, seen Kobe do some pretty incredible things, and seen the just watching the Lakers your whole life. 20 years is a long time, so it kind of just gave me. I felt like he deserves just a little bit of leeway, if he's taking some shots or taking some bad shots or just being hard-nosed, hard-headed with his style of play. Yes, I still want the Lakers to play a better style, but nonetheless,
MVP.
Yeah, MVP. So anyway, I just wanted to say, Kobe, what's up?
We love you, Kobe.
Yeah, right. So anyway, that was the Lakers. On to some more NBA, though. I want to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I feel like a lot of the talk has really just been about the Warriors and the Cavs this year. The Spurs obviously are right there record-wise at the top with the Warriors. But the Thunder are an emerging team as far as, Kevin Durant is finally getting his legs under him, starting to play, like the Kevin Durant of old.
The Slim Reaper is back.
Yes, the Slim Reaper
in
is
action.
back.
And coming for your souls.
But I wanted to say, we've been talking about them on the basket cases here, talking about just kind of how it seems like Westbrook and Durant are always having to do everything. And Charles Barkley made some good comments on Inside the NBA on Thursday that I really thought were poignant. I kind of agreed with him. He was saying that that they don't really use their teammates enough, and I was thinking, that's really why that the Thunder aren't playing as good as they should. It's not because they're not as good of a team as far as their roster is concerned as some of the other teams. It might be a little bit, but they have good players. Serge Ibaka is a good player. They could use him more. Dion Waiters, I think I've teased him a little bit on the show before, just because he's kind of like one of those Shaq'd in a fool players. Like he's got a lot of game, but he'll just
JaVale McGee.
yeah, like JaVale McGee. He's kind of like one of those Shaq'd in a fool players, but he also he's got some game though. He'll make a surprising J.R. Smith like athletic, nice scoring play. So anyway, I kind of agreed with Chuck though. I looked at some of their stats, and they're in the middle of the pack in assists in the NBA. They're 16th overall, and they also turn the ball over a lot. Westbrook, I think, I don't know if he leads anymore, but he's towards the top of the league in assists. But he turns the ball over a lot too, and I feel like a lot of his assists just come from him running out of real estate when he's trying to score and then just passing it and somebody makes it, and it's just because he's so ball dominant that they're getting the points. It's not because like he's taking the ball with the intent of passing it for getting an assist. It's like it just happens to be that way, and the ball's in his hands so often that he'll get 8 to 10 assists a game, and that's why those turnovers happen too, because they're those plays are birthed from trying to score only, as opposed to trying to create a play.
And he's got the ball most of the time,
right? Like, and again, I guess that's kind of another way of saying kind of what Chuck said, which was I think he said Greg Popovich made a good point about when Kawhi Leonard learned how to be a great player. And he said when he learned that when I called the play for him, it was for the team to score, not for him to score.
Yeah,
and it's perfectly true.
Yeah, it is.
That's what Durant and Westbrook got to learn. Just because your name's called doesn't mean you're the guy who has to put the ball in the bucket.
Yep.
So anyway, if they play smarter ball, they'll be fine, because obviously, it's like Westbrook and Durant should be like the Jordan and Pippen of today's league. Obviously, they're not Jordan and Pippen, but they are two of arguably the top 5 players in the league right now, and they're on the same team.
Yeah, and just on the utilizing the players real quick, I think a team has a better chance of, or like one guy has a better chance of carrying a team to win if it's from that aspect of utilizing the team. Like you were saying, instead of just being the main scorer, like they say one guy can't win a game, but it can help. But I think it can help even more when they're utilizing their team, as opposed to just trying to score, like you were saying.
Yeah,
I never really thought about it that way.
And they have 2 guys to do it. That's the other thing with them.
Yeah.
It's like it almost like when you watch the Thunder, who's the guy? You don't know the answer to the question. That's the other thing that's kind of weird. Like with Jordan and Pippen is one of the best players in the history of basketball. He's a top 50 all-timer, one of the most athletic players I've ever seen, one of the best defenders ever, and just a smart, great player. But you knew it was Michael Jordan's team. Right now, you don't know whose team it is, and I wonder what that's like as far as leadership, though.
Right.
Because you were just in your example talking about the style, you were just kind of, I noticed it in your speech, you just naturally were saying a guy or one guy leading as opposed to 2, and immediately my brain went to, well, but they have 2 of them, and we don't even know who's the alpha right now.
Right.
So I wonder if that kind of is a detriment in a way. It's like an interesting experiment in leadership.
Depends on their egos.
They both always have nothing but praise for one another, but
That's a good start.
yeah, interesting. So anyway, I love watching the Thunder though, because those guys ball.
I like watching Russell Westbrook too. He gets all fired up.
Yeah. So anyway, Kyrie Irving made his return today for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know Cavs fans are happy about that, coming back from his dislocated knee. There were rumors that he was going to come back, I think it was maybe on Friday or something or maybe Thursday, I think it was. Yeah, it was Thursday, against the Thunder. And sure enough, that he backed out of that one. I heard him talking about that. He goes, yeah, it kind of came out that I was going to play against the Thunder. I've been okay, but I wasn't going to play now. It's just like, yeah, you don't want to debut against Russell Westbrook when you could debut against the Philadelphia 76ers, who only have 1 win on the year.
Right.
And
Very nice.
Yeah,
strategic.
So let's just call it what it is. And anyway, they blew out the Sixers today, and he was happy to be back on the court in action. Over the weekend, the Bulls and Pistons played a big quadruple overtime game on Friday.
Wow.
And Detroit prevailed 147-144. I would imagine after that,
Victorious, glorious, victorious, glorious, victorious, victorious, glorious.
you got to play that 4 times for
Strong. I'm
for
like
a quadruple
Hercules.
overtime, man. Victorious and glorious it must have felt for Detroit. 147-144. Detroit's been a surprising team, man. They're tough. The Clippers lost to the Spurs 115-107 on Friday. And then they went on to lose to the Rockets in a rematch of the Western Conference semifinals from last year, and they lost 107-97. Chris Paul said, "Don't worry about the Clippers post game." But they're 16-12, and they don't look as good as they have in the last few years. There's still a lot of time, but if I was a Clipper fan, I would be worried. You know, what about what you've seen this year from them tells you that they're going to have a better chance this year in the postseason? If anything, it seems like the cream of the crop is rising further and further away from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. It all happened so fast. The Clippers being good.
I know, man.
Them being good, and then...
They're not bad. Like, you just wonder, why aren't they as... Like, what is it? And
even like 5 years ago, nobody cared about... I mean, well, not that nobody cared about the Clippers, but...
They've had some injury. Well, yeah, I know.
I didn't care.
There's a lot of frontin' fans out there. There's a lot of, in case you're not from LA, there's a lot of people that pretend like they've been Clipper fans for years that straight up are not. I just want to get that out there right now.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you see a bunch of people at a Clipper game.
I've been waiting for them to be good again.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. Okay, I used to get like ticket plans for Clipper games just because I'm an NBA fan. And you can get like 4 games for $100 back in the day. And then they would send you like a free game in an email for Christmas. Like, hey, pick another game. So,
please come back.
Yeah, exactly. And those games were empty. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as Chris Paul and Blake Griffin showed up, that's when people started becoming Clipper fans. So just so you know out there, like 80% of Clipper fans be frontin' when they say they're, longtime Clipper fans. And if you don't know the word frontin', stay tuned for hip hop vocabulary later and strictly hip hop.
More on that later.
Yeah. So anyway, just to say that about the Clippers, but we'll keep watching them because I like Chris Paul anyway, and I think Blake Griffin, even though he's a big complainer, he's an entertaining player to watch.
Shut your mouth. Put your hands down.
Right. He's an entertaining player though.
He's like.
So anyway, let's talk about the Warriors. Been covering them all year. Obviously, it's fun to always cover the team that wins. Just because when you're the Lakers, you never get to cover that. Otherwise, covering the Lakers. But the Warriors came home after losing that game on the road trip to Milwaukee, and their first game was against Milwaukee. Now they're 26-1. They beat them, and now they got a few days off. We mentioned at the top of the show that Charles Barkley and Colin Cowherd are haters on the Warriors, and they were saying how they would lose to the 90s Bulls, like the 95, 96 Bulls or whatever, the team that won all those games. And a lot of people even like to argue that they would lose to a healthy Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, the Cavaliers were injury depleted last year with Kyrie Irving going out in Game 1 and Kevin Love not being able to play with his dislocated shoulder. So I had some thoughts on that. I don't want to say that, the Warriors would beat the Bulls, and I don't really think that they would. I think the Bulls would probably just outmatch them kind of physically and things like that. And obviously, people like to take into context the style of play, the rules at the time versus the rules now. And you could debate that till the cows come home. The reality is we're never going to get to see it, so who cares?
You're right.
But what it does make me want to say, first of all, I'll make the quick Cavs point. We'll see. Everybody keeps arguing that Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were out, but that made the Cavs a bigger, tougher defensive team, and they were able to win a couple games that way. And if you want to go small against the Warriors with Love and Kyrie Irving, good luck, because the Warriors will eat you up if you want to go small. So I just want to say that, and we might see that. I hope we do coming up in the NBA Finals, a healthy Cavs. And we'll see. The Warriors are tougher than people give them credit for, and I just want to say appreciate the Warriors. Steph Curry is like the best shooter in the history of human existence. Of all humanity, nobody shoots like that guy.
Right.
And people don't appreciate it.
4, 3,
So anyway, we'll get back to the NBA, but it's halftime.
You know what that means?
What does that mean?
It means it's halftime.
Welcome, everybody. It's halftime.
Welcome back.
I don't know why I welcome people. They're already listening.
It's just funny.
It's just to the segment, I guess. It's just welcome to this segment, this edition.
Any Wayne's World fans out there? It's halftime.
This week's episode. So anyway, I said it was the holiday edition, so I guess we'll get the holiday stuff out there. Any Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. You been doing any Christmas shopping or anything, Zach?
No, because I've been low financially, but I got a little something for you.
Oh, the show's not paying all your bills yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, mine neither.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah. One of these days, give us money. Tell your dad who has a business that you want to, get an advertisement on the basket cases.
Could we have some money?
Can we have some stuff? Give us some money.
But thanks for listening, y'all. That's how it starts.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for Christmas, man? You got any big plans coming up? It's next weekend, next Friday.
Going to the folks' house for breakfast and some gifts, and then grandma's in the evening around the corner. And then, hitting Palm Springs for a few days.
Nothing says Christmas like a nice little desert getaway.
Oh, I love it there.
Nice.
Shout out to Palm Springs fans,
Yeah, Palm Springs is cool.
All the Palm Springs fan listeners.
Yeah. I'll be in Vegas.
Ooh.
So we'll say this at the end of the show too, but that brings us to our next point. We got like little different types of schedules next week, so there will be no basket cases next week. You'll have to wait 2 weeks, people.
Ooh.
Gonna build some anticipation. You're gonna be begging for it in a couple weeks.
It's just it works in our favor because if you wait an extra week, the show is just gonna sound better to you guys no matter what because you had to wait.
It's gonna be so good,
and we're both excited for that.
It's gonna be like having dessert for dinner, or something like that.
Dessert for breakfast.
Breakfast for dinner. Dessert for breakfast. All that good stuff. I don't even know what I just said.
I'm having lunch for dessert tonight.
Oh, cool. Huh.
I'm having turkey cereal tonight.
Gross. So anyway, what's all over the place right now is Star Wars. Have you seen?
I've never heard of it.
There's new Star Wars out, if you haven't heard. It's a big deal. Are you going to see it?
I'm going to tell myself I'm going to, and probably almost convince myself to, but probably not realistically. Not because I have anything against Star Wars, but getting to the movies can be difficult sometimes.
It seems so difficult, doesn't it? It's so
does.
funny. It's like going to sit into a dark room and watch a screen like we do all day at the house or whatever, but it's like it's just so difficult to go somewhere and do it. You know what makes it extra difficult for me? The fact that it's like $37 to do it.
Oh yeah. That's insane. But
Yeah.
I want to see it though. I'd like to in the theater.
Yeah, I want to see it too. I kind of want to see it just because I don't go to the movies that often, and to see like a big action movie that I also hear is actually pretty good story-wise. I'm not a big like sci-fi guy, but I would go check it out.
Sci-fi guy.
But it'd be cool just to go check it out, see what they're doing with the technology and all the effects and all that stuff.
Yes.
I'll bet it's sweet.
Yes.
But I found a story the AP put out. It says the church doubles attendance with Star Wars themed service, and it was in Berlin. And it's a church in the German capital invited Star Wars fans to attend a special service on Sunday themed on the sci-fi blockbuster in an attempt to attract more young people into the pews. So 500 people heeded the call and attended the service. Some were carrying lightsaber props and wearing Darth Vader masks at church. So I thought that was just kind of funny. They said the pastor said we were happy to see so many people in church today. It was his name's Lucas Ludwig, and it's great that there are subjects that people are interested in. They trust us to make them part of the church service without making it too Christian or too Star Wars, but to find a good compromise. So anyway, I just thought that was so funny. Let's see.
Well, good for them.
There was one other quote that I thought was pretty funny. There was a guy Scott McGuire, who's wearing a Chewbacca costume, said he planned to go see the movie later, and then he said, "I think the whole question of God is very interesting, but getting up early on a Sunday is one of those things. But for something like this, I'll go."
I mean, I got to, how often you get to be Chewbacca in church?
Right? Any other time you get kicked out, probably.
Right. They're like, what are you doing? This is
making a mockery out of it. So anyway.
And they're like, yes.
I think a lot of people just they're like, oh, this isn't the church of Star Wars. We just came here to worship Chewbacca. A lot of people lining up in the streets.
Is this the church of the Fawns?
Okay, so anyway, I found another article. It says, I have to talk into the microphone. This was in Greenwich, Connecticut. Sheet music was found, Beethoven sheet music, and it sold for $100,000. Original Beethoven sheet music.
$1 million.
He spotted it visiting a home, of a woman looking to sell some belongings, and he recognized Beethoven's handwriting in the German words and the symbols, yada yada.
This lady didn't know what she had, or what? Was the guy like, I'll give you $100,000 for this? And she's like, oh, okay.
I don't know. It was purchased at a German antique dealer. unclear how the page found its way to the Greenwich home. Anyway, I thought it was just interesting, but my question was if there was like any one artist that you could have some original music or lyrics from that they wrote it down on, or any particular one song that you would have the original notes from, who or what would it be?
I was thinking about this, and I surprised myself with my decision because I would have to go with Mozart because, not like I was saying, not to keep with the classical theme, I don't feel obligated, but it's because it's... Do you listen to that stuff?
Do I listen to
It's crazy. I'd love to have the original sheet music of that.
Right. I've listened to classical. I don't regularly listen, but yeah, I would agree with you.
Mozart's like a
Some
shredder.
Some of it's amazing.
Yeah, so that kind of thing, and it's like really pretty shredding.
What's the real like brutal one? Wagner or something like that? What's that one name?
Yeah, that sounds right. And Beethoven's pretty brutal too.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
I didn't come up with an answer, but it might be cool to have like Rap God by Eminem or something.
Yeah.
Like the first, that'd be nuts.
Oh, that'd be cool to have any
It'd be
Eminem song.
It'd be like 37 pages. So many words.
Or Rakim.
Oh, that'd be cool.
The lyrics, when he first wrote the lyrics to Paid in Full.
Nice.
I get that. That'd be a good one.
Cool. So the theme that has been going on for like the last few months in the world continued. Death and bombs and fires and shootings and terrorists and all that stuff. It's been hitting home in LA even. LA County schools were shut down earlier this week. Oh, by the way, this was a nice smooth segue right there. Did you like that?
The world is ending, by the way.
Yeah, by the way. They closed all the LA County schools earlier this week. There was more like bomb threats and stuff. So the world is just crazy right now. So we want to encourage people to just keep being nice to each other and keep putting positivity out there because we have a voice, we might as well use it.
And don't ignore your children.
Yeah, don't ignore your children.
Because those are the kids who shoot
do all
people.
this stuff. Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
This PSA brought to you by.
Love your kids.
So anyway, it's halftime, and we're still talking holidays. Do you have any favorite Christmas songs, Zach?
I don't, but if I had to pick some.
I don't. Generally, I hate them.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
But I do hate them.
You've got to have some favorites.
I do hate them generally.
You've got to have some favorites then. I have some favorites.
No, I like Carol of the Bells. That's one, definitely. Definitely. I actually have a couple more.
That's a pretty good one, actually.
I have a couple more. We talked about Love Actually, either last episode or the one before.
Yeah.
And anyone who's seen that movie, Billy, what's his name? The old guy, the pop star who's trying to make a comeback, and they take one of his old hits, but they make it into a Christmas song. Yeah. And it's hilarious.
It's a good song too.
Christmas is all around me. That's what it's called.
Okay. It's a good song.
It's hilarious and very good. And my last one is actually a Hanukkah song. And I'm gonna go with the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler.
I didn't think of that, but hell yeah, that's a good choice.
And he's got like 3 different versions, and I love them all.
Yeah, that's a great one. I got a couple like Korn did a couple. They did Jingle Balls. It was it's Jingle Bells, but they called it Jingle Balls. It's pretty.
You see what they did there? You see what they did?
He's like Jingle Balls. And then there's They also did Kidnap the Santa Claus from Nightmare Before Christmas. I thought that was pretty sweet. Obviously, I'm going to pick all the weird ones. I love the White Christmas from the first Home Alone, that rendition. I'm dreaming. Yeah, I love that one. I just like the way he says it with his voice. Yeah. That's a great one. I like Santa Baby.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Anyway, and I like all the Beach Boys ones.
All the Beach Boys
Yeah,
Christmas songs?
like that. They have that album, and it's just like they're all good.
Nice. I don't think I've heard those.
Yeah, you have. You've heard at least a few of them. I guarantee it. I'll show you later. Definitely, you have.
Show.
They're good. Take my word for it.
Yeah, it's the Beach Boys. If you don't like the Beach Boys, get the hell out.
All right, I got a quick game for us to play right here, smack dab in the middle of halftime. So, you ready to play the game?
Ready. Game.
All right, we're gonna stick with the Christmas theme here for this halftime game, and it's a very simple game. I'm always sparked by music. That always sparks my interest, and obviously Christmas is the theme right now. So I found an article that was listing like rock and metal albums that don't suck, and it was from Gibson Guitars, Gibson.com, and it was written by Annie Erickson. I don't think it's a recent article, but it just sparked the idea, so that's why I'm giving her credit. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name an artist, and they're gonna be a rock or metal or something like that. Somewhere, don't hold the genre too tightly, but some sort of rock band, and all you're gonna tell me is whether or not they have a Christmas album.
Album, not song, but album.
Yes.
Okay.
He pays attention,
You know.
folks. So anyway, how many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so there's 12 of them. So we'll see how many you get, all right? I'll mark you if you get it right, and we'll count them up. What do you think? What would you be happy with out of 12? How many points do you want to score? Let's set a bar.
I'd
say
6.
Okay, 50%. All right, ready? Here we go. On your marks, and get set. We'll make this a quick game. I'm just going to run through it rapid fire.
Go.
Go. Weezer.
Yes.
Yes. 311.
Yes.
No.
Knew it.
Black Label Society.
Yes.
Yes. The Vandals.
Yes.
Yes. Incubus.
No.
Correct. No Doubt.
Yes.
No.
Fudge.
Smash Mouth.
Yes.
Yes,
They seem
do.
like the
They do.
nerdy type to do that shiz.
Corn.
Yes.
No, they just have Christmas songs.
Songs.
Got you with that one.
Bastards.
Scott Weiland, R.I.P.
Yes.
Yes. Last couple. Twisted Sister.
No.
They do. Gotcha. Blink 182.
Yes.
Nope, they don't. Gotcha. Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Yes.
Yes, he does. That's it. Okay.
6.
Let's see. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 5, 6. I think you passed. I think you got 7. Yeah.
Oh.
If you're at home paying closer attention than I did, sorry. I was trying to read it and keep score, and I screwed up the scoring system.
Kev was all like,
I was all like feeling pressure. It's hard when you're recording. Leave me alone.
Ricardo, dude.
So if you see Africa, do it. So anyway, that was the game, and that was halftime.
Back in the game.
Back in the game. So anyway, thanks for listening to halftime, and we'll get right back into it then, because we got a lot to get to and little time to do it.
Okay.
So let's talk some more basketball and basketball. You know who's not happy? Dwight Howard.
Who cares?
Yeah. So what I was gonna say, what else is new? The reports came out from, I think it was let me see, Chris Sheridan from Sheridan Hoops. And the article says, Dwight Howard is extremely unhappy in Houston playing second fiddle to alpha dog James Harden. Isn't that already written just like the most cliche sports story of second fiddle? He's playing second fiddle and he's unhappy. Meh, meh, meh.
He wants 25 million instead of 20.
Multiple league sources.
Money ain't a thing.
Multiple league sources tell SheridanHoops.com. And with the Rockets underachieving more than any NBA team, look for them to try to move Howard later this season. And the destination that makes the most sense is Miami in a trade centered around Hassan Whiteside. So he's already got his destination picked out. He's already told all of his sources. He's like, I'm not happy playing with James Harden. I want to go to Miami. I miss being in Florida, blah, blah, blah. It's just Dwight Howard is just what's the word? Just a malcontent. What's the word for just somebody who's never happy? He's just never going to be happy.
Yeah.
He says, oh, those are lies and rumors, talking about not. It's like, oh yeah, they're lies and rumors. I wonder where they come from. You, Mr. Leave Orlando, Mr. Can't play with Kobe, can't play defense or offense with the Lakers, Mr. Trade myself to Houston, get the coach fired. Now, I'm not happy with Harden.
He's got his little fro hawk.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of Dwight. First of all, who does he think he is, thinking that he cannot be thinking that he could be the number one option on any team? He doesn't have any moves.
Yeah, he doesn't try either.
He doesn't try, and he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's got the stupid eating grin on his face all the time, and it's just, oh god, he's got no self-awareness. He's never going to be the number one option. He doesn't have any game. So anyway, Dwight Howard.
He's just a lucky guy. Dwight, you're a lucky guy for being born big.
Exactly. And he doesn't even take it. He takes it for granted. It's stupid. All right, so we got two more fun stories in the NBA, and then we got to move on. Rajon Rondo earlier this week was suspended for using, well, technically speaking, both F words, but I don't think it was the most commonly used one that was the reason for the suspension. He was using the anti-gay slur F word, and he got suspended a game for it. He directed it at NBA official, I think his name's Bill Kennedy, and I guess around the league it was known that Kennedy actually is in fact a gay man, and then after, but it wasn't like a publicly known thing really, it was just around the league. People kind of knew, like in the inner circles, and after the game, after Rondo said that, he came out publicly saying that he was a proud gay man. But anyway, a lot of backlash came at Rajon Rondo, and he came out with one of those, and his initial apology on Twitter was something along the lines of, it was very typical. Just, I apologize to anybody who was offended. I didn't mean to offend you. Not like I'm sorry and I'm sincere and I didn't mean to use that word. But then the next day he got public relationed up, and was a little more direct and sincere with his apology, saying he used the wrong word and sorry to the official, and that word should never be used.
Right.
But I wanted to just have a quick little back and forth with you about the issue, about what's right, what's wrong. Should he have been suspended one game or more games? I know Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, said that they only did one game because they were not trying to really out Bill Kennedy. They didn't want to make a bigger deal out of it to draw more attention to somebody who may have still wanted to kind of stay in the closet. I know Kobe Bryant said that word a little while ago in his career. He got fined $100,000, and then he went on a big, campaign against, hate speech and things like that.
Yeah. Because it's not even about hate.
That's just the thing. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's not even about hate. Let's talk about it. I know that there's lots of words that people shouldn't use. At least, there's words that people take a lot of offense to, and the thing is, when you're an athlete and or you're a celebrity and you're on camera and all that, I feel like a lot of times, moments that are heated, it's just what you see on TV, and so you try to define that person by that moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just think about when you're in the car or something like that. You just want to, and somebody cuts you off. Everybody out there listening, you think or say something that you wouldn't want people seeing or being on camera, and it's not really about that being what you say or that emotion being representative of who or what you are or what you believe. It's just about the emotion and how angry you are in that moment, and you're trying to just use a word that conveys it in the moment as when you're heated. So I just feel like, although I agree that those words should not be said, and that it's insensitive, and it's difficult to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is offended by something, particularly when guys like you and me, we try to not give words too much meaning, because ultimately you decide how much value a word has. Like Morgan Freeman says, you want to get rid of racism, let's stop talking about it. Mm-hmm. Ultimately it's your choice to be offended by something. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, we're not guys who typically would say we get offended, but we're often also not guys who are typically discriminated against.
Right.
So it's hard to be in other people's shoes like that, but we're put ourselves in those shoes. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts. How did you feel about it? Rajon Rondo getting one game. Did you feel like he should have gotten more games, or how do you feel?
No, I think suspending him a game, I think, was good, because he's got to have an example, and they got to set an example.
Right.
To use him to set an example, and because he needs, like you said, being more like a public figure.
Whether they like it or not, they are in the limelight. They are role models in a sense.
Yeah.
Whether or not they act like it.
And that's all about self-control. He's not wasted, nothing's going on. He's jacked up during a game. He doesn't need to say that word to express his frustration.
Right. Time and place.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he is.
And what if he is bigoted?
Exactly. Maybe he doesn't like gay people. Maybe he knew the official was gay.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Does that make it worse? Does that make it better? It's interesting too.
I think it makes it worse, because
because he's really trying to make him feel bad about it.
That's more like a hate thing.
Exactly. That's where it's a real issue, and that's where you wonder. I don't think that was the case. I don't think that.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think that's what it was about. It could have been. I don't want to guess, but But the other thing too is like, there's people that don't like gay people or don't believe. A lot of religions, a lot of people, just with their own personal beliefs that they hold on to so tightly. A lot of them don't like gay people or don't want to stand by gay people or might use that word. And the reality is, if you try to punish them, it doesn't matter. They're not going to change.
Right.
So that's the other thing too, where it's just like, oh, suspend him 8 games or suspend. It's like a matter of like what the league stands for is determined by how many games they're willing to punish somebody. It's not really about what the consequence of that punishment does, or what the consequence is of that punishment, what that punishment does. It's not, like you can suspend him for 8 games, but if he really hates gay people, do you really think that by the time he comes back for that 9th game, he's going to feel differently?
And if he doesn't hate gay people, don't you think it's kind of harsh?
Exactly. So
it's kind of like, I like the 1 game thing just because he needs to be made an example of.
And plus, obviously, Adam Silver being someone privy to more knowledge than the average person in the public, they knew that the official was gay, and they were trying to do him a solid and not make a big deal out of it too. So, anyway.
But it's like we were saying, it's never an easy thing to say or even think about, especially coming from guys like us. But
right.
The reason why people use those words to offend is because people continue to be offended.
Right.
And I mean, it's not something I'm not saying, get over it, because obviously that's very insensitive. And
that's the thing too. Like, I have difficulty with compassion sometimes, but at the same time, when you really think about it, it is
because these words,
a good way to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, and these words originated from hatred. They weren't.
True. They weren't. He wasn't talking about a cigarette butt. He was talking about,
Right.
He was trying to say something mean.
But it's like the way, times have to change because people make the change. Things don't just go away. But I think times have gotten a lot better. I mean, but still, just punish the guy a little bit. But like you said, even if he really does hate gay people, it doesn't matter what you do to him. It's not going to change his right. view. And if he doesn't, then he'll hopefully learn his lesson.
Agreed. Anyway, one more thing in the world of the NBA was, real quick, actually, sorry, not to move on, but I wrote down one other thing. Regardless of the punishment, I said you're not going to change everybody, but it's also interesting just to think about the whole culture of sports, with and celebrities for that matter, like Michael Jordan, for instance. Michael Jordan is revered and, just loved and praised and thought of as just this, basketball mecca type guy. But if they had Twitter and stuff when he was out gambling at 2 a.m. and all the different stuff,
right,
Michael Jordan was no goody two shoes. The difference was coverage.
Right.
And, I'm sure he said that F word, or, who knows what. I'm just saying,
he's a human.
The world. Yeah. I'm just saying people blow all these things up and we hold these athletes to such a higher standard. And it's a matter of well, should we? It's in one hand, they make lots of money and they're in the limelight and you want to have good represented on TV and that you want to have good represented by your athletes. But at the same time, they're just people.
Right.
Regardless, they make a lot of money. They all come from different backgrounds.
They make mistakes.
Which leads you to, speaking of mistakes and different backgrounds, Gilbert Arenas was our next topic that I was just about to get to. Gilbert Arenas had some pretty colorful remarks in USA Today. I guess he posted an article I found on USA Today, but I guess he posted to his Instagram a video or a clip or something of some girls playing basketball, and they were just beautiful girls in bikinis. And he basically was saying, this is what we all envisioned when we thought the WNBA was coming out or whatever. And, you wonder why you don't have ratings. It's because, we're not looking at this. And basically just hating on the NBA and, womanizing at the same time. And then, of course, he got all this backlash about, hating ugly people or being a chauvinist or whatever the case may be. And he doubled down on it and said, all you people coming back at me, you're the ugly ones, 9 out of 10 or something like that. So anyway, I just want to talk about Gilbert Arenas and what did you think about that story?
I mean, the guy could have just been joking around.
He could have been.
Seriously,
right?
That's the tough part about being a guy in his position. It's everyone gets offended by everything.
You know what? Nobody even said that on the radio, and I didn't even think that until you just said it. He could have just been joking around.
Right.
But the thing is, when you're that guy, you're supposed to get that people aren't going to get that that's a joke. But the fact that you just said that makes me think maybe he is that guy who doesn't get it, and he was just joking.
And we're this is the new, this whole accessible information thing where everything is surveillance and you can't get away with anything. This is a new thing. It's only been the last probably 10 years or less. So I think we're all still adjusting to that. and people are still making mistakes like that or whatever. But I don't think it was a mistake. Maybe it is for a guy in his position, but I know no one would write me hate mail if I put it on my Facebook or something.
Right.
Even,
But it brought me to, it still did make me think, though, back to the WNBA, because, we're always trying to improve sports here on the basket cases. The WNBA. Now, I love basketball. Obviously, it's why I started the podcast and everything. And I try to be fair and everything like that. And I watch something if it's entertaining. But I think we all know the WNBA doesn't get great ratings. And I think I know why. It's just because it's not the same game. Like, you can watch like women's tennis and men's tennis, or women's soccer and men's soccer, and like the quality of the game doesn't change much. In
Right.
fact, I would argue, especially in soccer, women's soccer is better.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it such a big gap between men's basketball and women's basketball? It doesn't look like the same game. You turn it on, it's a different sport practically. And I feel like it's just because anatomically, the way the game and the rules are, and the rim being 10 feet tall it's just not built for women that way. And they already make the ball smaller in women's basketball. They just need to lower the rim, and then you get girls dunking on each other, and
Be more
just like
entertaining.
posterize. Sorry about that on the mic. Posterizing people, and just like, it would, instead of getting the one dunk that happened this month in the WNBA on Sports Center, you'd get in the top 10 every night with this girl just dunking on some other chick. Like,
Yeah.
and because there are some extremely talented basketball players in the WNBA, there really are. I know Lisa Leslie, when she played, I enjoyed watching her. She was great. Candace Parker's a good player. Sue Bird has been a legend in women's basketball. What's that one I like? Diana Taurasi or something like that. Like, there's a few like badass ones. I don't watch a lot of it. I only know a few of their names. I probably just like named players from like 3 different generations. But
It's just funny. It's been around that long, the WNBA. I remember
it hasn't even really been around that long. It came out like in the 90s. But,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, I know a little bit about it, but nonetheless, I just feel like if they just made the game a little more of an equal playing field as far as the dimensions and things like that, catered to like a woman's body, then they could make the product on the floor a little more entertaining to watch.
Exactly. It's just about entertainment. It's like
Exactly.
if you're not watching it just because they're women, then you're an idiot. I think most people don't watch it because it's
doesn't
just less entertaining.
Yeah, it's just not as good.
But just look at, you don't, the guys like in the NBA don't even have to be playing. Just look at them on the court. Their size and their stature and everything.
Yeah,
You're just
it's
like,
jaw
whoa.
dropping. Yeah.
And women aren't built to be big that way.
Right, and there's not that many of them, even in the WNBA.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, a bunch, ladies on the court playing some ball. Nothing too striking visually.
Yeah.
You get like 7-footer once in a while. The only WNBA game I ever went to, the other team had a woman on the team that was 7 feet 2 inches tall.
Whoa.
It was really, I think it was Utah, and she was like some huge Polish lady or something.
Wow, that's tall.
But
That's tall.
but everyone else looked like, normal size. The point guard was 5'2", Debbie Black, I think.
I don't want to
Today.
rush. I think we're going to have like a slightly longer episode this week. So you're going to get a couple bonus minutes, people. Probably. Enjoy yourself.
Feel lucky.
Chestnuts roasting on an open. I messed up the first word. Put your feet up and toast some marshmallows.
Something dancing in the snow. Merry Christmas.
To you. So anyway, so that's this week in basketball on the basket cases. We didn't get to a single other sport yet, so we brought the basketball this week.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on over to baseball real quick. I know it's the off season, but we're an LA based show, like we continue to stress.
Dodgers.
So we're talking some Dodgers. The Dodgers traded some prospects for 3 players. They got Frankie Montes, who's a fastball and slider pitcher. The Dodgers think he can be a starter, and they think he could be a starter soon. So they're hoping to kind of bolster their roster after losing Greinke in the offseason to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They got Mika Johnson, who's a backup infielder, and they got son of Lakers Showtime Laker Michael Thompson, Trace Thompson, who's an outfielder. He's athletic. They definitely like his defense, and they got high hopes for his offense. So that's interesting, especially in light of the news that Johnny Cueto went to the Giants and David Price went to the Red Sox. And obviously, like I just said, Greinke going to the Diamondbacks. It makes you kind of think about the Dodgers' philosophy. They're obviously showing you what their thought is. They're not going to sign older players to long deals. They're going to keep trying to get younger. They're adding some pitching. So, and I heard that the Aroldis Chapman deal could still happen. I think we talked about him last week after the domestic violence case with him kind of got.
I'm losing track with all these sports guys and their domestic violence.
I know, right? Isn't it crazy?
What's
Quit hitting women, guys. Anyway, actually, just anybody. Don't hit anybody.
Yeah. Unless they're really making you mad.
No.
Oh, I don't mean women though.
Okay. No, even if they're making you mad, don't hit women. But anyway,
Use your words,
there you go.
boys.
Just walk away. Anyway. So anyway, and I heard somebody else bring up the idea of trading Clayton Kershaw, thinking that the Dodgers were trying to get good, too far into the future as opposed to right here and now.
Bad idea. No good.
I don't like the idea.
Get it out of here.
He's the face of the team. He puts butts in the seats. I think it's just a bad look to do that, even if you're trying to be nice to Kershaw and put him on a contender. He's still young. Give it some time.
Yeah.
Stay on the ESPN or stay on the Dodgers.
And don't forget about everything he's done, people.
Yeah, he's Clayton Kershaw.
Can't be like that all the time.
And then one other thing real quick, just because it happens all the time. Again, Pete Rose this week was still talking about trying to get into the Hall of Fame and everything. And it's funny. It goes around. It circulates on sports radio every year. And to me, it's just like, why would he even want to be in the Hall of Fame when he stands to get so much attention every year, because he's not in the Hall of Fame. Every year he's a big story, and it's because he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I also think it's funny, like baseball with their Hall of Fame making a big deal about his gambling and stuff, when obviously the league is sensitive to gambling ever since the World Series was fixed all those years ago. And Pete Rose signing his lifetime ban from baseball when he used to bet on his team as a manager, but he's still like the hits king and best singles hitter of all time, and he did all that stuff, and it still happened. And that's my thing with the Hall of Fame. Is it like how much of the Hall of Fame award, the prestige of it, how much of getting into the Hall of Fame is about your character versus just what you did factually for the game itself? Like it's like a museum. So I still feel like even if you gambled or whatever, if you're the best hitter, shouldn't you be represented in some way? Or like because think about it like this: if somebody didn't know about baseball and they went to the Hall of Fame, shouldn't they know who that person is?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
and it's even cooler that he was banned from baseball and then gets in the Hall of Fame anyway. That's probably why he wants to do it.
It's like an even cooler story, right? You gotta. I think it should still be included.
They said no, and I made them say yes.
But people debate this stuff like all year, like every year. It's kind of funny. So anyway, that's our baseball talk real quick.
We got Pete Rose again.
But I know we're the basket cases, but I also still know that the NFL is king. So we're
also the laces cases.
Do you want to do like I said, we got a little extra meat on this episode. So why don't we do strictly hip hop, then do some NFL, and then we'll close it out. How's
Sounds
that sound?
good.
All right. Well, then let's do some strictly
5, 4,
hip-hop.
3. You don't say 2 or 1.
2, 1, check.
You just don't.
Toast. That's a good. In case you're wondering why we say toast, just keep wondering. We're not going to tell you. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good mic check word.
Sibilance.
Toast.
Toast.
Doesn't that sound nice? Toast.
Ribbit.
Red leather, yellow leather. Irish wristwatch.
Yes, that one's very difficult.
All right. So anyway, strictly hip hop. This week, I figured to just do a quick, short, funny segment, and we're gonna define some common hip hop slang. So number one, you may or may not know these. So I'm gonna give you a chance to tell the listeners if you know the definition, and if not, I'll give it to them. So I got 8 of them for you. Number one, swerving.
Like driving.
Well. Okay, so here we go. It's not exactly. No, not swear. Okay.
What is it?
There's that was one of the definitions, but not exactly. So it means either being under the influence of large amounts of alcohol or drugs. You can swerve in a car, in the club, at your house. It's wherever. That's a definition from Urban Dictionary. But there's also it can also be defined as the act of spitting game at a single female, or to act a fool, or to act wild or cause chaos. So that's swerving.
Right on.
Number 2, I know you know this one. Number 2, biscuit.
That's a gun.
That's a gun. So watch out for biscuits. What's another word? How about a burner or a 95 nickel gleam?
A
Those
gun.
are other words for guns.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, lamp.
Like it's either like writing or hanging out. Like writing.
It means to chill or relax.
That's what. Yeah, hanging out.
Yeah, I know. I learned a word from Big L one time. He said he was lamping. No, he said he was not lamping. That's Eminem who said that. Other people have said it too. But Big L said, I'm the neighborhood lamper. And it meant like the spiritual or religious like inspirer, like the inspirational source or whatever for a community. And I was like, that's a sweet word
Like
for an
the
MC to
hermit
use.
with the lamp.
I don't know. What's the...
But yeah, it's just hanging out.
So anyway, lamp, chill, relax. Number 4, Jake.
It's a cop.
There you go. It's the police. The Jake's coming at me. Number 5, butt ahead.
I don't know.
It's a word for a girl who you're attracted to everything about her, but her face, and
Like a butterface.
yeah. So, so I liked everything. Everything's nice, but ahead.
Yeah.
Number 6, 7:30.
I don't know.
It's a crazy person. 7:30. I learned that one today.
6s and 7s.
It was all 6s and 7s. All right, number 7. Got the dragon. This is a Big L slang. Got the dragon. What does that mean?
I don't know.
She's got the dragon. She's got bad breath.
Oh.
All
Nice.
right, and the last one for strictly hip hop would be number 8, murk. It has 2 definitions.
Merc, I don't know.
It either means to leave, yo, we're gonna murk, we get out of here, or it can mean to go kill somebody. Yo, we gonna murk those fools, man. So anyway,
I learn something new every day.
that was strictly hip hop for episode Ocho. The Ocho. Anyway, shall we move on to some NFL coverage?
Sounds good.
All right. NFL. Real quick, I got 2 stories I want to get to before we get into week, whatever this is, 15, something of the NFL, all the games and stuff. There was a Washington Post article that came out earlier this week that says, it's by Mark Mask, that says the NFL is to consider officiating changes. NFL to consider officiating changes prior to playoffs. The changes would include enabling representatives of the league office to potentially be in more frequent contact with on-field officials during games, according to several people familiar with the league's deliberations. It says that it would enable the league to assist in correcting any prospective administrative errors made during a postseason game related to the clock and other issues. And this is... let's see. And this is kind of in light of them acknowledging some bad calls that have been made this year. It says the NFL admitting that the on-field officials missed a penalty against the Seahawks earlier this year for illegally batting the football out of the end zone. That cost the Detroit Lions a late chance to win a game at Seattle. Then there was one later acknowledged by the league between the Jaguars and Baltimore. And it would have resulted in a clock runoff for the Ravens when they missed a false start penalty. And so anyway, Roger Goodell said at an owners meeting in Dallas this month that no stone would be left unturned. So as we keep talking about the NFL and all the rules and how difficult it is to follow and people, not understanding what a catch is and yada yada, they're trying to make it better. It's never going to be perfect because there's people doing it, but
Amen.
But anyway, and it's also kind of funny that I think one of the head of the officiating, I forget his first name, but Blandino, he stressed that the percentage of calls being made correctly by officials this season is comparable to the ratios in other seasons. So again, it's more just the coverage is greater. There's just so much more coverage, so everybody knows when something goes wrong. And it's tough though because you're sitting on your couch and you can see it in 2 seconds. Hey, that happened. That's wrong. But it's so anyway, it's just one of those things.
Yep.
Hopefully they keep trying. One other topic was Tom Brady wearing a Donald Trump hat earlier this week, and it's a big deal, especially because Donald Trump just keeps making headlines. Now he's saying all the Muslims should not be allowed to come into our country, not a single one of them.
What a smart guy.
Yeah.
What a smart guy. That'll fix everything.
What a
Damn Muslims.
Yeah.
That's what we should be discussing right now,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Financial
So-
issues or anything like that.
Anyway, there's gonna be, it's funny. Like we're gonna finally get some some fan mail, and they're just gonna hate us for you just sarcastically saying that because they're not gonna understand sarcasm.
Good.
Good. We're stirring the pot here. Stirring the pot here on the basket cases.
Bring it on. I don't care.
I need to put a limiter on the mic. Sorry, Rob. Anyway, so Tom Brady was wearing a Donald Trump hat. Do you feel like athletes should use their platform like politically? Because I think he was asked some questions and he just kind of said, "Oh, Donald Trump's a friend." And it'd be tough. Like if you're in a millionaire, like the people that roll into your circles are generally like other rich people. So like you could imagine just walking by
like hot chicks.
Right.
They only hang out with each other.
Right. Like you could just imagine like walking to a hotel lobby and there's Trump and, "Oh, hey Tom, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. Nice to see you, Mr. Trump." And they go, "Here's a hat." "Okay, good. Nice to talk to you. Let's have dinner next Thursday." And they just talk about their money and their women, and then, they go on with their day. And then all of a sudden, you wear a hat and then he says, ban all the Muslims, and then you're Tom Brady and then you're asked, "Hey, do you hate all the Muslims?" and all this stuff. But so to me, here's my thought on the question, should they use their platform? If you're going to wear the hat, then wear the hat. If you're going to wear that hat, then you need to answer the questions about it. You need to support what the person is saying and all that. If you're not going to wear, if you want going to wear the hat, then don't duck it. Don't duck the questions.
Because like we were saying before, it has to do with who you are, and how you're looked at by the public. And so it's like, well, don't wear your hat to the game. Then that's going to be on TV.
And I don't like it when you don't
want to talk about it.
I don't like it when media members and journalists and radio hosts call out athletes for not taking a stand. I don't like that. I don't think that just because you chose a different profession that happens to be in public that you have to use that platform. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like you're obligated just because you make a lot of money to step out and voice things. I think that
I agree.
Why just because you got a different job that people are jealous of doesn't mean that you have to be better than everybody else as far as using that platform and stuff. I feel like if you can keep your nose clean and just do your job, and you don't, like, yeah, sure, Michael Jordan was a partier and stuff, but even if Michael Jordan was squeaky clean, I still liked his mantra of just kind of like, hey, Republicans buy sneakers too. Like when he was asked why I wouldn't back a Democratic campaign candidate or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If your goal is business, then why can't that be your goal?
Right.
Why does politics or social causes have to be your be all end all just because you're an athlete? I understand that you have the platform and so you would like people with influence to be able to use it to do good, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like there's an obligation. I just don't.
Exactly. I'm the same. It's not their fault that,
What about you guys, listeners? Then how do you feel about it? Does anybody have a different opinion that's worth mentioning later on the air? Something, bring it. Bring the heat.
Bring it.
Bring the fire.
Bring it through your fingers.
But that's how I feel. I don't feel like they should be obligated. They should feel obligated.
I don't either.
Okay.
Leave them alone.
Very good.
You leave that poor man alone.
Leave him alone. All right, let's finish up here. NFL scores and stuff. Let's see. The Panthers are still undefeated. They beat the Giants in a thriller, 38-35. They remain undefeated at 14-0. The Giants fall to 6-8. Odell Beckham celebrated like he won the game when he tied it at 35 all in the fourth. But the Panthers, after that tremendous comeback, really, but they still lost. NFC East is still open though. Falcons won 23-17 over the Jags. Oh, by the way, Cam Newton's just a beast, man. Panthers are really, they're going for it. I wonder, it's kind of funny. I remember a couple years, like, what was it, 2007, 2008? I think it was 07, when the Patriots were undefeated in the regular season. And I think it was like in the last or second to last game of the regular season, they almost lost to the Giants. And then when they went to play the Giants in the Super Bowl, I felt like, hey, the Giants gave the Patriots a pretty good run. I wonder. Mm-hmm. And the Giants did end up beating the undefeated Patriots in that Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of had flashbacks to that when I thought the Giants were going to come back and win today because they did that amazing comeback. But Panthers were able to hang on and got the win. So they weren't having it, and they look like they got a pretty easy road to go undefeated. Their next two games, I think, are against pretty low teams. So anyway, the Chiefs beat the Ravens 34-14. The Chiefs are now 9-5, so they're in the mix. The Texans beat the Colts 16-10. They're now 7-7, and they lead the AFC South while the Colts are 6-8. Washington beat the Bills 35-25. Washington 7-7, and they lead the NFC East, believe it or not. And the Bills fall to 6-8. The Vikings beat the Bears 38-17. I think Adrian Peterson walked off with a little ankle injury, but I think the most recent reports I heard were that he's okay, but we'll see if anything else comes out. The Vikings are now 9-5, and the Bears fall to 5-9. Patriots won over the Titans 33-16. They're now 12-2, and they clinched the AFC East. Obviously, they've had some injuries, but we'll see if they can be healthy going down the stretch with Gronk. Tom Brady could do that.
Tom Brady could do that.
The Seahawks beat the Browns 30-13. Seattle's clinched a playoff spot, as did the Packers when the Giants lost, and the Packers also beat the Raiders 30-20. The Bengals beat the Niners 24-14. Bengals are 11-3, and the Bengals are in the playoffs. Another good game was the Broncos and Steelers. The Steelers won 34-27. They're in the hunt. 9-5 are the Steelers. The Broncos fall to 10-4, but they're still sitting, I think, atop their division, still in the AFC West. Is it the West? Excuse, I don't. Scusi, I don't know my division too good.
Scusi, S01.
The Dolphins lost to the Chargers 30-14. But both those teams are bad, so nobody cares. And Sunday Night Football was pretty good. Not really, except for all you Cardinals fans. But I know my dad and my stepmom enjoyed that game. Cardinals won 40-17. Cardinals clinched their division. The NFC East is still open for the Eagles. So the only team really out of the mix in the NFC East is the Cowboys, like I've been telling everybody for weeks. But I think this week made it official on paper.
Now they're listening.
Now they're done. So for Monday Night Football, you got the Lions and the Saints. And this week, NFL football will be on Saturday and Sunday, I believe. So
Yippee skippy.
The NFL gives you a little Christmas gift this weekend. NFL both days.
That's so nice of them.
So that's pretty much it for episode 8 of the Basket Cases podcast. I'm going to play a little outro music and say goodbye, but we want to say happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
All of the above. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We'll get a chance to say Happy New Year before it's all said and done, though, because we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We want to remind you there's going to be no episode next week. We want to continue to tell your friends about the show, rate and review the show, send us your feedback, follow us on social media, and happy holidays. Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Yes.
I'm Kevin. That's Zach. We're the Basket Cases. Cheers, everybody.
All right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.